They're going to be all together. He just called, but I was running a little bit behind. They're all three sitting by each other. They're going to be on speakerphone of a tablet. They're all three on death row sitting next to each other. I think it's the first time ever that anybody's ever got to get like three death row inmates at the same time because it's very difficult, as you can imagine, to even get people to agree to that. It's Donald Middlebrooks, Jonathan Stevenson, and Steven Wiggins. Steven Wiggins is convicted of unaliving a sergeant of a police department. Jonathan Stevenson is convicted of hiring a hitman to unalive his wife. And Donald Middlebrooks, the first guy to the left, he's convicted of unaliving a African-American teenager. It was a hate crime, pretty brutal hate crime right outside of Nashville. Hey, all right. Are all three of you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here. I don't know.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Well, we got something else better to do. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, death row can get busy. From what Steven told me earlier today, you guys were on lockdown, huh?
Yeah, earlier today we was.
Yeah.
Everyone was real curious about what the officers, they don't want to tell you. But what I did find out, they had the attorney business at the same time. And usually when y'all lockdown, emergency lockdown, they take the attorneys up front. They took them up front and bring them back down here. They said it's inmates only, so it was probably just a drill more likely than anything else because we wasn't locked down for long.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Usually when we're locked down for a day and a half.
Yeah. I know some prisons, like federal prisons, are locked down for weeks on end. It's crazy. But I did a little introduction to you guys. As I basically gave like a sentence per like case, like what you guys are convicted of, so on and so forth. So to start us out, let's get into it. Let's get heavy first. So there's been a few executions recently in these past few months, right? So and feel free to, whoever wants to go first, feel free to go first. But how does it weigh on each of you when there is an execution? Like, how do you guys prepare for it? How do you guys handle it before, during, and after it's all said and done?
I'll go first. This is John Stevenson. I'll go first and tell you. Oscar Smith, he was the first person that I met when I got here back in 1990. They put me in a cell right beside him. He was C levels and B levels together and all that other stuff. He got here about a week or 2 weeks before I did. And he was one that was executed back, I think it was, May 22nd, somewhere around there. And I've done arts and crafts with him through the years. He didn't play cards or anything, but we played Scrabble. And all kinds of, little things like that. And the only problem, he was really hard to get along with. He did a lot of things to people that people really didn't care for. I'm surprised, to be honest with you, he lasted as long as he did. And after, nobody wanted to see him get executed because executions are wicked. Nobody wanted to see him that happen. But be totally honest with you, I don't know anybody that misses him. And then we got this one we just had, Byron Black. He's what they effectively in my book, what they did is they executed a 12-year-old. His mind, he's one of those fellas that when you pass by, he was on a walker to boot. He had 2 broken hips. But he was on a walker. And he's one of those fellas, when you pass by, you had to pump his fist or give him a hug and tell him everything's good, or he was thinking that something was wrong. I mean, he was always wanting to make sure everybody was okay, saying hello, tell your family I said hi, old man's body. I'm not condoning anything that anybody does that's here. Of course, I've given you a thing on my case where I don't even have a conviction. On that, I don't know if you've put it together or anything yet. And of course, I'm one of the very few that has proof of actual innocence also. And so I'm not going to reading their case and knowing their case and everything like that. But Byron was a child. He's been a child for the past 10, 12, 15 years. He's been a child. So that's all I have to say about the last two executions. Go ahead. Next one. It's Steven Wiggins. This is ostracity was my first execution, and like Don said, a lot of people around here didn't exactly tap dance for Oscar, but it's I hadn't been here long enough for him to offend to the point that he has some of these people. I mean, like I didn't have no kind of like issue with him. You know what I mean? No serious issue, no problem to call it. But it wouldn't just go out of my way to absolutely make sure to check on him every day, you know. But like I was acquaintances, cordial with him, you know what I mean, talk to him. He did some March Past stuff with me and stuff like that, and make quite a few things, and he was a little on the odd side. Talked about eating people all the time. Yeah, he did have that problem, didn't he? Every time you turn around, I'm going to eat you. And I'm like, Lord, why do you even talk like that? Didn't he have a tooth in his hand on there? I was going to chew anything. Yeah, true. But yeah, it's just the fact of somebody that I was acquainted with being executed as my first execution year. Yeah, it really set into the reality of this place. You know what I mean? And then Byron Black, he's one of my very best friends here. You know, he's my brother. He coincided. I coincided with his family. He coincided with my family, or coincided with my family, I should say. And he was one of the nicest, just straightest, childish, just simple people. You know what I mean? That you would be always happy, always kind of, be nice to somebody. Always kind of wish family good, wish your kids well. Always ask how is your family doing? You know what I mean? And never told nobody no if they needed anything. You know what I mean? And that broke my heart. I didn't come out myself for 2 days. I set myself with my door shut and just cried for two days. I don't even want to know the specifics of his execution because it was a bad one. He has a heart defibrillator, and it's, from what I understand, his execution took twice as long as normal, and I just don't even want to know about it. You know what I mean? I don't want to think about my friend like that.
Okay, I'm Donald Middlebrooks. I really got along with both, but Byron was really a good guy. He was a type like he'd go to church in wheelchairs and stuff. You push him over there, and he always remembered everybody's birthday. And people don't realize, whether you support the difference or not, people don't realize that the man that they executed was not the man that committed them crimes if he did. I'm not going to set the judgment with that man, but even if he did do that, he's not that man. He's been here 30-something years. And in order for someone to say that someone like that can't change, they're shucking redemption. And that belongs to God. And the effect it had on me, I couldn't sleep for a couple of days. In fact, I stayed awake several days. And yes, I did say, and I cried, because it really is more personal. I like Oscar. Don't get me wrong, but Oscar, you see him as a person. Byron, you see him as a friend. And it really was a knife in my heart. And I hated that for him, and I hated it for his family because I had known him. And I had really fought with guilt because me and John Stevens here one time, I was over here, and Byron was laying in the floor, he was unconscious due to his sugar diabetes stuff. And me and John, I told John, come here because I looked at the door and we saved him. And I thought with the thought that, did I save him to go through all this, stuff? I mean, did we save him? I mean, we gave him one more year maybe. But did we do that so that only this could happen? I mean, I've really been fighting with that.
Yeah, his blood sugar was so low that if we hadn't got medical,
He
would have been dead within, what they say, 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours or something like that.
Exactly.
His blood sugar was down to like 30. He was in almost coma.
Man, yeah.
Laying half on the bunk and half on the bunk, and Middlebrooks come over to check on him just to say hi. I was out the pod, and he said, I've got a little bit of a medical background, and worked in the hospital as an orderly and went to a nursing school and all that other stuff. That's years and years ago. But he come and hollered at me. He said, man, look at this. And I come up to the door, and he was making gurgling sounds. And I didn't say anything to Middlebrooks. I took off running. The fat boy was running fast. I went out to EPOD, and I told him to get medical down here and call the code, and we got one that was down. And the officer was nice enough to run back in the pod with me instead of just walking or taking their time. And as soon as they saw him, they called the medical code. Medical took them about, 15 minutes to get here? Yeah, about 15, 12 minutes for them to get here. When they did, they figured out what was wrong real quick and took him some medication and took him up to the torture chamber overnight and then shipped back the next day. We call the clinic the torture chamber up there because that's what it is. So.
And they know that Byron Black, when he says he's hurting. Even when these inmates said, I got a mosquito bite, it's going to kill me.
He walked around with 2 broke hips for a number of years and didn't complain about it that much. Other than hobbling around on a walker. So he wouldn't have got that walker if it wasn't for me and the kid. That's true. Me and the kid got to holler about him getting a walker. Yeah. We try to look out for each other in here. Yeah, we got to where the officers out there have wheels on their chairs, in the main office out there. And so before we can get him a wheelchair to move around, we go out and get one of their rolling chairs, say, excuse me, we'll be right back. We'll borrow the chair, put him in the rolling chair, and roll him out in the VG in a rolling chair. Over to church or over to medical. When the nurses come out. So that's one of the things we did. But,
I thank Byron one time. I thank Byron for he been real good at pinochle. Because one of the things that we had around here is me and a couple other inmates, we'd look on lists during the holidays. They had like free throw and stuff on holiday, free days. And that's where you do all these game stuff. And we'd look on lists and free throw. If you see Byron Black's name on free throw, don't even bother to sign up. He's going to win. He's good at basketball.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's anybody else got anything to say about them? I guess that's about all hit on that subject.
All right, so Donald, so Donald, while I have you here, you had an execution date as of a month ago for September 27th or 22nd, correct?
Yes. Well, I learned I had to stay. I made extra sure yesterday. It's for say, but really that's bittersweet because it's like, okay, well, I get to stay, but what that means is that I get to sit around and watch my friends get murdered in front of me. And that's bull crap. I mean, I hate to say that on, But you know what I'm saying? I mean, I should be happy, but I'm not. Because, you know, I've been here through all of them. And I've had some very good friends to go. But, you know, and there's some friends that I know that's going to be going ahead of me. And be going this year, next year. And it's, a state is not a state, as a person would think, because, you know, well, you know, you eventually, if you don't get away from here, you know that's going to be the outcome.
Here's a good example of a state. I'm not going to kill you today. I'm going to kill you next week. I'm going to kill you next month or next year. I'm not going to kill you next month on what the state gave you, what was it, September 22nd?
September the 22nd.
Yeah. I'm not going to kill you September 22nd. I'm going to wait till February next year to kill you.
Well, this is my second execution date. My first and my very...
This is your second real execution
No,
date.
my second real one.
Real one. You had other ones before that.
No.
You had appeals going on.
But the real first one was December the 8th, 2022.
Yeah.
No, that was the real thing.
It was. This is your second real one. And
Yeah.
what I mean by real one is I've had appeals in the court knowing that all I have to do is file in the court and say, listen, I need to stay in execution because I'm appealing my case.
Yeah.
You ain't got jack crap left.
I ain't got nothing.
You ain't got nothing.
And that's what pardon me for cutting, that's what I wonder is Tennessee claims it don't have enough money to feed kids that's going to school. But yet they can find the money to kill a 75-year-old or 70-something-year-old man. And it's all old men here. This is a nursing home. Other than this kid right here.
Hey, I'm only 62.
I'm 63.
Well, yeah.
I
don't consider myself.
Honor your elders.
Yeah. And the next execution after yours is...
I will have one.
Is Nichols.
That took me off the list.
Woo. Yeah, for now.
Yeah, I'm not going to like Red.
Well, think about it.
You hate it, but you like it. December 11th.
Yeah, his is December 11th. Thing is, there's no such thing as being politically correct with these executions.
No, there's not.
You can't. It is what it is. You got to say what it is, and just you ain't gonna hurt anybody's feelings. You know. It is what it is. You know. Yeah, you do. And if you can't talk about it and you can't deal with it, that's one reason that everybody here is still halfway sane.
Well, when they killed Byron Black.
Yeah, well,
but when they killed Byron Black, I didn't sleep for 2 days because every time I closed my eyes, I see me get in his face.
Well, yeah, I've had friends get executed too,
And that's hard.
Well, let's put it this way. If you remember, you knew Don Johnson as well as I did. Probably got just as good.
Yeah.
I had Bible studies with that man for 15 years straight. Every single week we spent 30 to 45 minutes in a room, just me and him, with the Bible, every week. I'm telling you, seriously, for at least 15 years. And they executed him.
You know, when I
talked about that hurt.
That hurt bad. You know, when I do think, because you remember Diamond Jim couldn't read or write. And he came back and gets through.
Yeah,
goodbye letter.
You did that for me. I remember that.
How do you tell a man, you know, because they making him choose between the electric chair and legal injection. How do you sit down and talk to a man about conversation like that?
Public knowledge, but when Diamond Jim, he told us, he said his favorite show was Married with Children.
Yeah.
He did not miss an episode, rerun, or anything, and his favorite saying was "Let's rock," and he said, "Listen, that's what going to be my final words." He said, "Y'all listen to the TV and see if that's not my final words." And right before he took the electric chair, and that's what he said. He said, "You got any final words?" And they said his final words was "Let's rock." He said, then they went ahead and executed him.
Yeah.
He's one of the ones that he went to the execution chamber, came back to the unit, waited a few days, 4 or 5 days. Now, they didn't have him on lockdown. He was out with the rest of us. Took him back to the execution chamber they did that, 2 or 3 times?
When he came back, I just wrote that thing with him.
Yeah, you wrote his obituary. He knew he was going to die. But
the first time he chose it, and I said, Don, what are you doing? Choose lethal injection. He said, huh? I said, now I've seen people almost drown.
yeah.
That's like drowning. I said, have you ever stuck your finger in a light socket? I said, the others like that.
Yeah, that
ain't neither way to go.
Yeah.
Violence is violence.
Yeah, it's neither one of them. I don't know. It's not a deterrent because the murder rate. Murder rate is higher than it ever has been, and they're executing people every week, not in this state every week, but across the country every week.
The death penalty, if anything, it enhances crime because if someone is robbing someone and their mask is pulled off, they think, well, how can I not go to prison? Oh, if I kill this person, they won't be able to see me go to prison.
Now, I'm going to look at it from your standpoint.
Yeah.
You were in a mental institution 6 months before you got in trouble, 2 months before you got in trouble. Okay, think about this right here. You got somebody that wants to commit suicide, okay, that doesn't want to take their own life. If they commit a capital offense, that's suicide.
That's suicide.
What was that guy's name that killed his 4 killed kids? Oh, yeah, and he refused and denied appeals and everything. It took him 10 years to get him.
Yeah.
They finally executed him after 10 years. He wouldn't associate with any of us.
No TV or nothing.
He stayed in his cell. He refused to come out and didn't want to be around anybody. You go up and try to talk to him, and he'd say, "I don't want to have anything to say to you," and so we'd leave. We don't want to. I still don't see.
I don't.
But like I said, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So John, I'm curious. So you've always maintained your innocence since day one, and of course, Steven and Donald Middlebrooks both admit that they're guilty, right? So how do you feel? How do you feel being? Yeah, how do you feel being around people that are guilty, like that are convicted of unaliving people, that are actually admit, essaying women and kids, stuff like that? Like, how do you feel about that?
Help me! I'm around killers. I'm surrounded by killers. Help me! I'm surrounded by all these killers. How's that? Is that okay? No, seriously. I did have a jury trial. I was found guilty. Had the sentences dismissed. They took me off death row, and I did 8 years on Tennessee's compound on regular prison. I gave them the murder conviction back, and I don't have a trial. I have no due process hearing, and I have yet. The attorneys that I have now are looking at it, and they're like, "Okay, we can't figure out why you're here either." But nobody's done anything yet. I've got, I think my stuff's supposed to be filed in October. But if you were, say in my position on death row, and you can prove you did not even have a due process conviction, because one of the things I asked the court, and I gave you the paperwork. You've got the paperwork as part of the other podcast. The DA clearly said, we're not going to give you, he doesn't need another trial. Okay, well, if I give him the conviction back, then where's my conviction? And that's just it. There isn't one, and it's a due process violation. Mine's what you call a one-off case, And I was put on death row by email. I sent you a copy. Go ahead and laugh, but it's true.
It's true.
You've seen my paperwork too.
That's true.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go up for parole on the conspiracy charge, and the counselor called me and told me, he said, "You're not going anywhere. You're going to be sentenced." And then handed me a piece of paper where the DA told the Department of Corrections to put a conviction back on my record because they didn't want to put a detainer to hold me. They were going to re-sentence me, so they put the conviction back on. And then when I wrote SIS, which is Sentencing Information Service, they said the DA calculated your case. I'd like to see a judgment of conviction. You got to have a judgment, and that entails to get a judgment, you got to either have a jury trial or you got to have a plea hearing. And I know everybody says, well, okay, then why during the sentencing hearing did you plead guilty? You know, matter of fact, Steve asked me that. He did this then. He said, listen, he said, if you're innocent, why did you plead guilty? Well, here's the reason behind that. Anybody that's wanting to save their own life, if you're given a lifeline, whether you'll take it. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's hard to make it in the prison setting without family or some type of outside help for commissary or anything else. And my family told me point blank, if at that time, if you don't do this, we're going to disown you. Come off death row, period. And so that's why I did that. And then when I gave it back to them, they said, well, we're going back to before you got habeas corpus relief to where you had a jury trial, which the judge vacated, to sentence you to death. And that's actually in the transcripts. And I can't get a judge to do anything about it. It's been all the way through the state. I'm in a federal system now. And so, I mean, it's interesting. Hey, Andrew, you've got all that paperwork. You've seen it yourself. You know, we've been over it several times.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, I'm here with these guys here. Some of these guys, people think they're monsters and they're killers and all that other stuff, and they're not. They're just hornbows. Yeah, I was about to say a little on the strange side, but anyway, no, they're these guys here have made, some of them made bad decisions. Some of them have made mistakes, you know. And there's several of them here that were not in their right minds when this happened. There's a few here that I can't say anything about. But there's, as for somebody that's being just outright maniacal, evil, devilish, there was one guy here that was like that, and he stayed behind the door. Even though he screamed and hollered at everybody and all this other stuff. And you want me to mention his name, Middlebrooks? Okay, well, his name, he committed suicide. Yeah. And, his name was Steve Wiggins. And I used to argue with him all the time. And but he's one of those ones that we call the door warrior. He'd stand behind the door and scream and yell and threaten you, I'm going to get you and all this other stuff. And you'd just walk up and say, well, just come on out here. And then the boy never would. He would run. He'd run from you. I don't know how you do that. But he was actually one of the most evil people that I have ever met.
He had level one time. And that was for about 5 minutes. There was a sergeant brother.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Every time he get ready to get level, he cut someone out so they could keep the door, keep him still behind the door. And Sergeant Brunson, he was served on his own, out of the box thinking, and this guy cut him out. Well, Brunson just walked out of the fight and got an A-level thing, come back to the bill. Here, I'm getting you a level. He called his lawyers and got dismissed.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I don't know if that man's still alive or not. But you talk about somebody that had nerve. Ooh, he was here when I first got the death penalty, and he's a little shorter guy, about 5'6", something like that. Yeah. You couldn't help but like him. But he popped my door, and he said, "Listen," he said, "I'm not supposed to pop your door without having you been in shackles and handcuffs."
You have 1 minute remaining.
All that other stuff. Just I'll say it real quick and then we'll call you back. He said, but if you make the wrong move, he said, I will beat you down. Do you understand me? And he really meant it. And he could fight. And so you acted decent around him, and he treated you decent. He's one of the few old school people that I cared about. I mean, he was a decent officer. Yeah. Call you right back, Andrew.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So, John, let's say the worst of the worst happens with your case, right? And they do go through, they set a date and everything goes through. What do you want the public to know, not only about your case, but about the system and the death penalty and the state, not only the state of Tennessee, but like federally and state executions?
Well, number one, even if it doesn't go all the way through, and I get executed. Executions are still wrong. Even if I get relief, I'm never going to change my mind about that. However, if they do, and then this is one thing, I know you've heard of the saying of false imprisonment.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you're arrested without due process and put in prison, and it's a civil claim and all that other stuff. I'm actually here under false pretenses, and I've got the paperwork to prove it. However, if they do go through and execute me, I will tell you, I can tell you what my final words are going to be. I mean, I've thought about what it's going to be. I mean, I've thought about that for over and over. And the other thing that I would tell people is, look at the paperwork. They've executed somebody that doesn't even have a conviction. And that conviction is actually no good anymore because they violated it when they put me back on death row. And the maximum sentence I can get for that, if they took me back to retry me on it, since they violated the contract, the plea agreement, which is a contract, maximum sentence is 25 years, and I had that flat 11 years ago. I got 36 years in here. And my second time on death row, not first time, second time. And what I do, I would take, I've already decided, I would take the electric chair. And, of course, my last words would be something stupid like, you can't eat me. You know, actual committing murder, because there's the difference between an execution and murder is protocol. If you don't go by the protocol, what we had with Tennessee a while back, they just said the heck with it. That makes it a murder, not an execution. Then, the death certificates actually do say homicide. But then you have the difference between a conviction and non-conviction. Somebody over here for a second. The difference, if you don't have a conviction, it is really first-degree premeditated murder. Everybody involved in it for 5. Any kind of human being, I mean, because, you know, like I said about Byron, he's been here 30 plus years. I mean, you're not the person that was that. I'm not. Well, hair done turned gray in me. Yeah, well, I've lost hair and got gray too, so. Yeah. But, I got future. Yeah, you're young right now. Yeah, he's got one of the youngest ones we got in here. Yeah. I wait about 40 years. I know what they've done to you is they're fast tracking you. They're gonna give you time to get great. Yeah, you have great. Look at there. I don't see no gray. No. But they got you on fast track. They even made a new law about you. So that's the way I feel about mine personally.
Okay. One of the more like 5. Wouldn't you say you're one of the more like 3 most recent death row inmates? Correct.
Yes. There's only one person here that's newer than me.
So are you? So I talked to a lot of guys and gals in death row in America, right? And a lot of them are numb to the fact that there's like executions. When people get there, they're kind of. Are you numb to it yet? Or do you still like have emotion?
No. I said, bottom back, his execution. It told me plain I'm fucking crying. And I mean, Oscar's execution, it fit into reality. You know what I mean? I mean, it hurt. Actually, Oscar's execution was 8 days before my 7-year anniversary of my charge.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sergeant Daniel Baker law basically is like so, right? If you unalive a firefighter, police officer, anybody in law enforcement, you automatically lose your
government service, public official like that. It takes away your initial around the field, and every time
time you hit an appeal court, it gives you fast track option. Like they stop every case in that court and fast track you your case until it's done as fast as they can.
Just to show you the difference, I'm in the federal court right now. This is John Stevenson. My case, I originally filed it back in 2015. Yeah, it's been, and I'm still in the same court. So fast tracking is they would stop hearing my case and everybody else's case to hear his case and put his in front of mine. But that's under that law. I don't fall underneath that law. Yeah, if you want Middlebrooks been here 41. Yeah. So I ain't been fast track. No, you ain't been fast track. Well, that's the difference between somebody that's fast tracked and been here for a while.
There's a guy there's another guy that's gonna fall underneath it in Blount County right now. They're seeking a death penalty on him for killing a police officer in Blount County right now.
Yeah, they'll fast track it.
And that'll be the first case since you've been convicted, right? That he'll fall under your law, correct?
Yeah.
Every other case that deals with first responders will fall under the Daniel Baker Act. The rest of us don't.
Yeah, it's just first responders, government officials, EMTs, stuff like that. Police officers, emergency response crews, and public officials.
They say violence solves violence. Killing a killer. No, that doesn't solve anything. No, that'll solve crap. That doesn't solve anything. What would be good, to be totally honest with you, anybody convicted of a crime. I'm not saying don't go scot-free. No, work, learn, let them teach, exactly, and be. See, my thing, I came up with a thing that's like the 5-year step-out program. That way, instead of death penalty, did one. All right, do away with the death penalty. Have 5-year step-out program. Instead of death penalty, you get that. And all 5 years, you get these professors that want to teach people. Well, you got one professor for each year. Then you get the 5 professors that have a meeting. Decide whether you go out to the street or not. It's up to them. It ain't nothing to throw up with each other. I understand that. What I'm saying is, if you do something wrong, you got to pay for it. Exactly. In some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And to make up for what you've done, you need, number one, retribution. What it is, here's the question. It has to be habilitation. Yeah. If you don't know to start with, how you going to realize that? A lot of these guys need to learn or need to be told, hey, there's a better way.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I get released. Last time I got released and I went straight out and I got back on drugs. I got back on methamphetamine. And I went to mental health to try to get help, with my mental health. They said, oh, we can't help you because you're on drugs. I said, okay, well, I need help to get off drugs. They said, well, get off drugs and come back and we'll give you mental health.
That's stupid. That's the way people work for stuff, and it's just it needs to be changed.
But at the same time, I didn't function properly, nowhere near it, even as without having some kind of altered mindset.
Well, yeah, I've never had trouble with drugs or alcohol, so I wouldn't know how that feels or anything. But I have seen people struggle with drugs, especially in prison. It's not fun to watch.
No, it ain't. It's not fun to get over with.
No, and sometimes it's not fun to be around them because everybody gets upset easy.
That's why my family broke me off. About 41 years ago, when I got in trouble, my family broke up. I don't blame them. Because how many bridges did I burn until they finally wiped their hands up? How many times did they open their doors to me back before this, back when I was a dope kid? And I'd rob them or I'd steal from them or something. I can't blame them.
you know, my dad's a retired Air Force officer. You know, of course, he just recently passed.
I have a tendency to do that when I talk about her.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
That hat behind there.
A lot of pain. I know you feel like seeing your eyes.
It's, you talk about that individual, and I have a tendency to giggle because I block out.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned how to do that, and I can't feel pain when I giggle. I'm not going to let her know she hurts me.
Oh, I understand.
In the story, you know,
She's been gone for a number of years, and
she's still, I don't like talking about her.
I understand.
She is my birth person. She wasn't my mom.
Yeah, I'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go there. So,
No.
yeah.
So somebody asked, what's the scariest thing about being on death row?
The food.
What's the scariest?
Oh, God. I got food poisoning 2 weeks ago, and I'm just now getting over it.
You know, the hardest thing for me, the scariest, scariest is food and medical care. Food and medical care.
I've had four real good heart attacks since I've been here.
Oh, God.
I got 6 stents. Oh, yeah, well,
Look at that right now.
you're all been up and
I got a broken little finger right now.
And medical doesn't.
They don't care.
They don't do anything for it.
They didn't even bother writing it down.
If I had had a heart attack that had to be carried out of here, they never would have done anything for me.
You pick me up out of the floor? Do you know how I know the real people on their side? You know, because I had learned that.
Yeah.
Officer taught me that if someone's having a seizure, you put them on the side so they open the window back.
Yeah. There used to be a whole bunch more people than that suffering from the city.
Oh, God. Yeah.
There's several people here that suffer that. I get one of their little thing at night.
I ain't wearing that.
Well, I know, but they wear it at night to keep them
Banging.
knocking their brains out against the wall.
Usually one time that one got great. It gives. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Usually, I had a seizure and I done Dallas 201. And a couple of officers instead of getting me help, they sat there watching me flop around the floor talking about, oh, that's why they didn't go fishing today. And usually snapped on me. He got caught on everything in the book, man.
Yeah.
They
Snap on anybody for anything.
Ooh, they're making fun of me now.
Yeah, of course, it's not good to make fun of them.
No.
That's cigarette capacity.
What do you do when somebody has a seizure that does?
What?
And soap and laundry.
Oh, that's soap and laundry. Okay. All right.
Soap and laundry.
That's sick.
Well, I have seizures, I can say. Well, I did it. Someone flop in the floor, wrap them in a blanket, and then clean up your floor for you. Mop your floor.
Y'all are sick. I'll never do you that way.
So somebody else asked, what's an average day like on death row in Tennessee?
Depends on what you do, what your job and position is.
I'll tell you what my average day is. I'm a law clerk here for the death row unit. It doesn't mean a whole lot. If somebody needs a case looked up or a rule or something like that, then I'll put it together for them and bring it to them, or they can come over to the library. We have a separate building that has a library in it, a law library. And the books are 24, 23, 24, 25 years old because they have online, and we don't have a hookup for Westlaw on death row. Although the compound has it, we don't. It takes us over a week when we get case law. Yeah, and they just give us what's on our tablet. We get 1 hour a day for it. That's not enough to research it. Anyway, my normal day is I'm up. I usually get up about 4:30 or 5 o'clock every morning and take a shower, get cleaned up, shave. You know, I got a shower myself, and they come crack the doors between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock they'll have two-way call out law library, and I'll go over there. And I'll stay over there until about 3:45 or so in the afternoon. And then I'll come back here to the unit, and we eat lunch over there and breakfast over there. I'm on a special diet because I'm a diabetic over there. I'm on a special diet because I'm a diabetic, and I'm a heart patient. turnaround time at 5 o'clock. And then like this right here, I'm going around talking to the guys here on death row. And usually about 8 o'clock, I go up to my cell, close myself back in, and sometimes I watch TV, sometimes I listen to the radio. And sometimes you get irritated. Yeah. True. But sometimes I usually go to bed between 9 and 9:30 at night because I'm an early morning riser. So that's my normal day, my day around. That's pretty much it.
That's done, right? My normal, let's see. Let's say I start Monday. I wake up, do door practice at 6:30. Eat breakfast, take a handful of psych meds. Zombie by around here a little bit, clean, because I'm an industrial cleaner for the unit. I do a little cleaning here and there, take trash out, trays, stuff out to the washroom, stuff like that. Clean up around the unit. Come back at lunchtime, take some more psych meds. Zombie by around for another 3 or 4 hours. Then dinner comes. Try to choke. Lay around, watch some movies on tablet or TV or something like that. Just message people, talk to people. That's not a big thing. I like to talk to people that ain't very many of them hang around after this.
People I know are dead.
Yeah, well, it's funny. There's a whole lot of people out there that I could go 10 minutes without my phone ringing right there. I ain't heard a hair high from them. When you hear they disappear. Yeah, I know. It's funny when you got everything everybody wants. But there's been a few good that stick around. Like my buddy Benner and my friend Sasha and my friend Casey and a whole bunch of other ones. It's a good little grip. Tuesday, well, I'm an insomniac, so I don't sleep. So 8:30 Monday night, I take another handful of psych meds. Laying here, fucking zombified, stare at the walls, watch TV all night, balls, bored as hell, locked in my cell all night. Tuesday morning, door pops open, I go out, eat breakfast, take another handful of psych meds.
Same every day.
It's the same thing every day, pretty much. Tuesdays, I go to class. I go to EFM class. And I do this and that, some arts and crafts, stuff like that. That's pretty much the daily routine. And after about 4 or 5 days, I'll lay down and go to sleep for a day and a half and get back up and do it again.
Yeah, half the time I do arts and crafts when I'm over there. As long as the crafts is over there next to the library.
Yeah.
So when I get all my stuff counted up in the library for people, I go do arts and crafts.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got me on sleeping pills and pills make me pee and pills make me not be psychotic and yeah. No, ain't nothing supposed to wake me up. I don't sleep. Yeah, every 3 or 4 days I go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, you teach your day, aren't you?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there he is. Sorry. I'm a teacher's aide. I get about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I do some meditation because, I know I'm fixing to come out to this area over here. So I do some meditation and some centering on myself before I come out around people. But I try to help people. I do a lot of meditation and a lot of yoga and stuff. So I just like to help people.
All right. So somebody asked, what do each of you want the public to understand about you, not about the headlines, but you as a person?
Let's see. I'm a lot more. This is John Stevenson. I'm a lot more than what the headlines say. One of the things, I'm ordained minister. Not that that means anything to anybody. I'm sure it's been since 1996. When I was in population, they don't allow you to play many instruments here. I play the keyboard. Had a keyboard here, but when I was in population, there was a prison band called the BAGG, Born Again Gospel Group. I was a bass player and keyboard player for them, and that was at Northeast Correctional Complex. And of course, you know, we were really, really good up there, gospel music. I'm nothing like what people say or what they've said about me, but you know, when you don't have any way to defend yourself, and what I mean is when you don't have attorneys that'll stand up for you as your voice like they're supposed to, then it's what they say about you, the state says about you, that people are going to understand and believe. You know, and much as I hate to say this, our original attorneys we used to have from the Capital Case Resource Center were the good attorneys. And when they changed them and they started paying them out of the state attorney general's office, they're working for the state. We have more. Our attorneys are not defense attorneys; they're prosecutors. Now, I can't say that about the attorneys I have now. I finally got new attorneys this past February, and it was really hard getting them. But and these guys here really seem to be on my side. But it's still takes forever to get anything done in the courtroom. And this place is no fun. Trust me, this place is no fun. But I don't want anybody to, you know, that's
This is Steven Wiggins. What people would know about me is man that needed help. I wouldn't give them help in any way, shape, or form that I could. That's true. I mean, I don't care if you're somebody I don't even like. If you need help and I can help you, I'll help you. You know what I mean? I'll put my own self in the hole if I got to help somebody else. Just because, especially somebody that's got kids, something like that, anything that should secure a positive outcome for somebody better than the situation they're in, I do my very best to do it for them.
What I like for the public to know is not just me, but it would go for everybody. We are much more than 5 minutes that when we screwed up in our life and made a wrong choice. Yeah, I mean, we're much more than that. And I would like for people to actually take time to look into our history. I'm not saying that, childhood held our hands, our mental institution, we made the choice, but what fed into us making those choices? You know what I mean? Like I said, I was trafficked by my mom. And one of the things that, I have learned, a lot of people have that issue here. Maybe not so raw as mine, but a lot of people have really bad childhood. And I told one of my attorneys that one of the best things about my 41 years here is I watch a man come in who's told you ain't nothing. The only chance you'll ever be is a dope dealer. The only best thing you'd ever hope to be is a drug dealer. And I mean, he come in, you wouldn't even get near this man's door. And now, you wouldn't even know this man if you met him. I'm not going to call his name, but you wouldn't even know him because, he's a good guy. And I would like for the public to know that the people that they're executing now, it's not the people that committed them crimes. Byron was not the Byron that did that crime. And I think it's sad that our society does not have the money, or claims not to have the money, to have lunches for children, but yet they're able to find money to kill a 75-year-old man. I mean, that's really sad.
Here's one thing I've got to say. There's nobody here that is too broken to be fixed.
Exactly.
That's what the death penalty's for, I guess, is to say that you are too broken. Yeah. Middlebrooks is showing me his finger. It's bent in about 7 different places. It's been broken so many times, but it can't be fixed. Yeah, now that can't be fixed. But nobody here is so broken in mind or spirit that they can't be fixed. You know. So I mean that's the way I see it. Yeah.
Who do you feel that you've let down the most with your actions in life and or the crime you're convicted of?
First off, I laid down my son, and I laid down my mom, and I laid down Erica, and my stepdaughters, and my granddaughters, and I really laid down the Baker family. I really messed up their life. I mean, there's nothing I can do to go back to change it, but I'm willing to pay the price for what I did to give them any kind of relief that they can get from it. You know what I mean? Any kind of justice they see fit, I'm more willing to do.
What about you, Middlebrooks?
Who I let down most would probably be myself, because I had hopes and dreams, and before my brain went south, I want to say that, you know, my grandma died, and I wasn't in my head. You know, I got locked up in Austin State Hospital because my grandma died in my lap. But probably she would definitely be the second one. But the first one would be myself, because my grandma had always taught me to believe in yourself, and that you was made of. You're at that. And I really disappointed myself in this, most of all. My grandma, she had a way of punishing. I remember back when I was a child, I took something from Homer Bill's grocery, which was about 2 blocks away from where she lived. It was a big clown head that erased her. And I'm in there in the living room playing on the floor with it, and she looked at me, she says, Donnie, where'd you get that? And I said, And that's not a good answer with Grandma. Grandma asked me, she said, did you get that from Homer's? I looked at her and said, yes, ma'am. I was about just a kid. I was something like 7, 8 years old. She said, but you don't have your allowance. I didn't know nothing about money. Well, she grabbed me by the ear, and she marched me for 2 blocks up to Homer Little's and made me give that eraser back to him and tell him I stole it from him. And I feel like I've let her down in this. I really disappointed her. I forgot one more person. My new stepson, I laid him down too. Oh.
Mine's just my parents and my kids. You know.
I want a kid. See, I didn't get to have none. That sucks.
Wait,
That's part of my dream. I got hit.
Oh, yeah, man. What do you tell you about Hickory Grant here? He is, how old is he?
He's 58 with the mind of a 7-year-old.
He's younger than Byron Blake. He's 58. He's 15, 31. So you can't understand a word he says. And what he does say, and he wants to, I love you. Yeah, runs around everybody, giving them hugs. I love you.
upset with him, you get upset. You got to keep telling him, no, I'm not mad at you. Everything's good. And give him a hug and say, listen, you know, and ask him if he needs anything. Then he'll try to give you something. Say, no, I don't need anything. And then you just got to talk him around for a while. And then that way there you'll keep his stuff. And he'll have something. And then, of course, nobody here takes advantage of it, which is a good thing because nobody takes advantage of it.
No. We don't allow that.
He's our kid.
That's good. Yeah, I've always wondered. That's good. Yeah, I've always wondered how people on death row treat like developmentally disabled or like severely mentally ill people. Because I know in regular prisons, like general population, a lot of them get abused. They get essayed or robbed, or they just get it.
That doesn't happen here.
There's no gang violence here. There's no race violence here. There's no fucking sexual battery here. There's no sevens here. There's no ODs here. There's none of that shit here.
Think about this. I'm in here for what they call a hate crime, and I walk around like this everywhere. And ain't nobody smack my head or anything. I mean, it don't happen. Now, this is a non-violent environment.
I'll say one thing about the environment here. We do it ourselves. It has nothing to do with the administration, nothing to do with the officers. It's the way we choose to live. When people first get here, we talk to them. When Steve first got here, they had him upstairs, and he was having seizures, and they were, that's right, he was one-on-one. And he was in special pie flap, and we tried to get him in a different pie flap, and finally they said, well, we're not going to do that. And what I did is I personally traded cells. I went to a different cell so he could have my cell, being on the bottom floor with a shower, and moved upstairs. And, of course, after it took him 2.5 years to get to the A level. Yeah, the first week he got A level, he come up and hollered at me. He said, "You want your cell back?" And I said, "Yeah." So he gave me my cell back. But the thing was, you do stuff like that for people here.
My first 30 years, I was here 30 minutes. There was 15 people on my door. Yeah, so the soup and buns and bags of coffee. Yeah, we don't really know. And shampoo, all food pop. But you need this. Yeah. But if they believe and see, don't realize. A lot of people think they ain't nobody talk.
We saw it.
That man up to intake and that suicide. He wasn't pretty suicide.
We remember that.
He knows that we out there said, he don't know that. Hey, this ain't happening.
Well, we got him brought back here. Yeah. But the thing is, what we do here is, you got 2.5 years to acclimate to the way things are here, the way things run. We govern ourselves. Yep. And it works. This is the least violent unit in the state of Tennessee. Well, you can say it's the United States. I think there's been, one fight in the past 2 or 3 years? Just one? Well, yeah, the Oscars the one that instigated that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We talked about Oscar. But anyway, this is a non-violent unit. We don't have a problem with drugs in here. We don't have the food. And of course, the commissary is so high, it's outrageous. And we kind of sort of live out of each other's pockets and stuff. When I run out of something, I go looking for Middlebrooks or Steve or somebody else and say, "Hey, dude, I'm hungry. What you got to eat?" Yeah. And they get me the same way.
When somebody's hungry, you give them something. Don't say you owe me this back. You just give them. No. And when somebody, if you need something, somebody will give you something. Man. If you need clothes, if you need food, if you need soap, it doesn't matter. They give you other stuff.
That is because we are a closed community, and we know it's just us. We know that they're going to try to identify people. We're here to die. So why not try to live the best you can before you go. Nobody wants to be remembered as an idiot. Like I said, law school, we remember him as kind of sort of an idiot. But the thing is,
the worst thing about being executed for me would be that late. The hate crime thing. I'd probably get that on my daggone life. That would be the worst thing to have that over my head. I mean, the whole thing were bad.
Now they brought people across the country into this unit to look. Normally, here a while back, and if anybody's listening, and they remember several years ago, they used to have tours here on death row. I'm the one that conducted the tours. We would go into a pod and show them a cell and answer their questions. But the thing about it is, if they had people from different prisons and come and look at the way we're doing stuff. If they would transfer this to the compound, if they would transfer this to other prisoners, there would be no violence. It's unreal that if they just use this as a template, I guess, probably like a template on how to run stuff. Because we do our own thing. It's getting close to being 8 o'clock, and 8 o'clock is when I'm going to head back up to my cell because I know it's going to be time to be locked down shortly. But we govern ourselves. Of course, we have rules that we need to follow too, but we stay within those rules.
We don't push our boundaries. We don't start no shit. Ain't gonna be no shit.
Well, we all that right now. Sitting here still talking on the phone. Think about it. We'll have that in the record.
So somebody just asked.
We got orders fines.
Right. That's crazy to me. But that's cool that Tennessee's come a long way, and so has other states that there's cordless phones for inmates now.
We got your own speakerphone in his cell.
That's mind blowing to say the least. 'Cause you're on speakerphone right now too, obviously. But I mean, I have a cell phone, and I know that's non-existent in there. So basically, that's the closest thing you guys have to a cell phone is a prison tablet.
Yeah, but nobody else in the compound, nobody else can say that. Nobody else can say that. We got stereos.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
What is it? Panasonic? RXD 65. No, it's the one. That's the same thing everybody's got.
That's the same way everybody got. Yeah, I got the auxiliary report plugged in my TV or my tablet. I listen to my TV and tablet to it.
So somebody just asked if you could get out tomorrow, what would be the first thing you could do, or you would?
No, I would go get a good meal.
I would do real bacon, oh my goodness, a real breakfast.
That's exactly what I would do. I would want to go to the nearest restaurant. I'm not talking about a fast food restaurant. I would sit down and have a meal.
As long as it ain't got nothing moving in it, I don't care. If it's got something wiggling in it, I don't want it. But I mean, they have like pancakes or...
I'd be scared if I could get out. I'd be scared I'd fall right back into what I was doing.
Yeah. Then what I would do after that is I would try to find a church.
Well, last time I got out, I went to a church of Christ out there, and they came up and they said, well, Miss River, we don't want no problem, but we appreciate it if you leave. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, there through my Bible and crashed and went over to my door friends because I knew I'm accepted.
Yeah, well, a lot of churches on the street won't accept now anyway, but some will, some won't. But this is my grandmother here and there.
Yeah, it's my grandma's thing. That's so hard this last time when I get out, I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just, I wasn't out 2 hours. I was in a car with a cell phone, a pistol, and that's just more dope than most people see in their lifetime.
I've never had a chance.
I know.
Yeah. When I got locked up, I've been locked up since then, and it's been straight through. Like the first time I was ever locked up.
I had chances, but I got the first time I was at Coalfield really got into the Bible strong, and I got out. Like I said, I hit that, and I'm like, oh, so this is what Christians is about. Yeah, they don't want us to do with inmates. I said, fine, I'll wash my hands with it because I don't want to accept it. If I ain't accepting it in the church, I'm accepting it with my buddy.
Let me say one thing here real quick. I've noticed, I've seen on TV where the churches now have armed guards.
Man, that's
Okay, no. Think about this right here. Think about this. If they believe in having an outreach program, let's go to third world countries and all this other stuff,
man.
why don't they do their own communities so the churches don't have to worry about arming themselves? Well, why don't they go and outreach and witness to their own communities instead of going to Africa or South America or wherever?
Here's one thing I've always
to the community and not somewhere else.
We went over to a guy's country, Dom. We kicked the Dom's behind, took his guns and said, why can't we do that to the communities here? Why can't we just go to the community, take guns and that's it? I mean, criminals.
You got Second Amendment rights. So you do that, you start getting them from everybody. That's wrong. And that's the whole.
England did with all of it.
Yeah, but what's over New York City? It's 2 years. 2 years. That one, when I was on the street, it was 2 years in prison if you got caught with a weapon in New York City.
Right.
Community.
So somebody asked, do you think your childhood made you make the decisions you made or influenced the decisions you made that made you end up on death row?
I had a good childhood. So no, my childhood didn't have anything to do with anything here. I went to different countries, lived in different countries. I graduated from high school in Alaska, came to Tennessee to go to college. So no, my childhood, I was never abused. I don't have the background that a lot of these people have. I don't have a drug background, alcohol, or abuse background. The only thing is, if you are who you hang around with, and where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And even if you're not in the fire, you're still going to get burned. And that's the only advice I can talk about. The only thing I can say about that.
Yeah, my upbringing probably didn't have the best effect on me. I mean, I did have a cocaine out, schizophrenic dad that beat the hell out of me every chance he got. But at the same time, it made me. It showed me everything I did want to be. You know what I mean? My dad never made a penny of money. He never paid a bill. He never took care of kids. He never was productive. He was never motivated. He was never nice. He was never, you know what I mean? I know I did it all the wrong way, probably all the wrong ways, but I did all the right things in all the wrong ways. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Right. No, it does. And Middlebrooks, I know you had a horrible childhood yourself.
Here's one thing, and I'm not trying to drum up an ad or anything like that, but Middlebrooks, we've got Bible studies and stuff that we've done over the years here on death row, and I think I've told you about it. I put it in a book. It's called Death Row Bible Studies, and although it's not a published book, it's an e-book from Amazon, and I guess it's really cheap. But Death Row Bible Studies. If anybody wants to know what a lot of these death row inmates, the ones that you're not even talking to tonight, and read to them, and the stuff that's been talked about and chewed over here for years and years and years, inmates who are still alive here, and inmates who have already been executed. of death row here, of the spirituality side of death row here in this unit. Not everybody believes it. Not everybody agrees with overt and do it and know about it. Let's put it that way. So, yeah.
So the last question that somebody asked was there a pivotal moment in your life that changed you for the worse?
Mine would probably be, there's a bunch. Well, there's one time that, my mom come home. She was a nurse's aide, and she came home, and me and my sister was laying on floor watching tunes. And she said, it must be good, I ain't going to use that word, good, to sit around on your ass and not do nothing. And she told my sister to go to her room. And then she told me, she said, where you going? And she made me sit there on the couch. And she made me choose between me and my sister which one was going to help her pay bills. And, of course, I thought it was my piggy bank. I gave her my piggy bank, but she was more talking about her bringing home old men and me taking care of them. I had a choice between me and my sister, and I chose me. And part of the deal was that my sister had to be out of the house on the weekends because I didn't want, I wanted witness. That would probably be one, and the other was my grandma dying in my lap. I was her caregiver. I went and I got trained to be her caregiver, and it's about 11 o'clock at night, and Grandma, she called, she said, Donnie. And I went there, and she looked up at me, and she said, it's time. And I said, time? I looked down, time for what? And she was already gone. And that's how I got in the mental institution, because I held the police off for 3 days after that. I can't think of anything specific that could change me or cause me to be in the situation where I'm at. I went to back in the 80s. Open marriages were not prevalent, but they were still there, and I'll leave that alone. But that right there, that it's like I said, it's who you hang with and what you do. So here's Steve.
The second the needle got stuck in my vein, really changed my whole perspective of life. I went my whole life, never shot up, never wanted to, never thought about it, never wanted to try it. I mean, I carried packs and packs and packs of 50, 60 needles on me for people I knew who did shoot up. They give them brand new needles. Here, don't be digging with that old dirty thing here. Have a new one. Never thought about touching them. And all of a sudden, one hit my vein, and I couldn't get one back out of it. And I just, it just changed. I mean, I'm not saying I was picture perfect to begin with, but it made me a whole different person. It changed everything I cared about.
It's 8:05. I've got a roll call.
John, drawing out.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to talk to whoever's out there. If I don't mind answering questions, anything like that. I know you've got my paperwork, and you're going to look up a podcast with it if you haven't done it already, and show the people the actual paperwork I've been talking about. So.
Oh yeah, I will. I definitely plan on doing that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, for sure. Have a good night.
This is Middlebrooks. I'm going back to my pod. I'll holler at you, all right?
Okay. All right. You have a good night. Okay.
All right, you too. Tell everybody I said hey.
Okay. All right.
Looks like it's just me.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate you calling and setting it up with the two guys tonight. I appreciate it. It was definitely Interesting, and I think once I put this out there, some people will learn some things about death row and death row inmates, and whether they're for the death penalty or not, maybe they can see you guys as human and not as some quote unquote monsters, or atrocities to this world,
Yeah. I mean, I was a completely different person in my moment. You know what I mean? As I don't intentionally do innocent people wrong. You know what I mean? I never have.
Right.
That's one thing that people who know me know that I don't do people wrong. You know what I mean? In any aspect, I don't screw people over. I don't hurt people for no. You know what I mean? I don't just do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. I was, I don't want to say wrong is wrong, but based paranoid, anybody would have lost their life.
Shot almost an ounce of meth, high quality meth, or in about, I don't know, 7 hours.
Right.
On that needle.
And I'm sure anybody that would have walked up on you, knocked on the door, probably would have lost their life, huh? Because you were probably so paranoid that somebody was out to get you or they were going to attack you, whatever.
It was more the second that he grew the gun. You know what I mean?
Right.
At that point, all I could think was, I'm dead. You know what I mean? And I'm already schizophrenic, and the voices in my head. Tell you the truth, I didn't even mean to shoot him. I never even saw him when I fired the first shots. I never even physically seen him. I still don't understand how I shot him. So, but I mean, and there's drug alcohol into this, and she didn't have nothing to do with it. She's completely innocent, 100%.
Right.
She was running away. I'm like, damn, should I shoot her? I literally had her inside to my pistol. We're going to shoot her.
Yeah, I can only imagine what was going through your head with so much dope in your system. I mean, I cannot imagine because I would never do that, but I can only just imagine from your point of view. But yeah, all right. Well, yeah, thank you again for setting this up. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and it's always interesting to get the perspective of people on death row, an active death row at that, where they're actually actively executing people.
Yeah. Well, man, we appreciate you giving us the opportunity.
You have 1 minute remaining.
To have a voice, and that's a big thing for us, is to be able to have a capable voice. You know what I mean?
Right. Most definitely. All right. Well, we'll talk soon. You have a good night, and we'll catch up soon.